So the next chapter for the revision, chapter number 8, dividends, section 123 to section number 127. So let's complete this and close. So in this area, all repeated every question put together. I have compiled around 44 different types of questions I have compiled. Let's do them. First one. What is the concept of dividend? Okay, first one. Dividend includes an interim dividend. Dividend includes an interim dividend. So the definition is defined under section 2 class 35. Dividend includes any interim dividend. What do you mean by that? Dividend includes interim dividend means all the provisions that are applicable for the final dividend equally applies for interim dividend. Okay. So next, the shareholders of Yoraj Motors at a AGM unanimously passed a resolution for payment of dividend at a rate higher than that recommended by the board of directors. Discuss the validity. Discuss the validity. First, listen carefully. The point is, whenever I say about the dividend, dividend will be proposed by the board of directors, declared by the shareholders. Dividend will be proposed by the board of directors, declared by the shareholders. However, listen, regulation 80 of table F said that, regulation 80 of table F said that although the power to declare dividend vests with shareholders, they can declare under no circumstances they can declare dividend exceeding the amount recommended by the board. Means what? Simply once the rate is recommended by the board of directors, that rate either shareholders can tell yes for that or no for that. That's all. Shareholders cannot exceed the rate. Next. What are the sources of declaring interim dividend? What are the sources of declaring interim dividend? Okay. Surplus in the profit and loss account and a P&L account credit balance can be used. Okay. Okay. Next. Profits of the financial year. Profits of the financial year in which such dividend is sought to be declared. Profits of the financial year in which such dividend is sought to be declared. For example, for financial year for which you are declaring that financial year profits. About this I will discuss much in detail. You may get a doubt. Sir, interim dividend means during the year, then how financial year will be completed? A question will arise. For that also I have an explanation that we will discuss much later. Just remember the answer as it is. Surplus of P&L account, profits of the financial year are profits generated in the financial year till the quarter. Profits generated in the financial year till the quarter preceding the date of declaration of dividend. Number 1, P&L surplus. Number 2, financial year profit. Number 3, up to the quarter profits. Next, CBA Limited wants to declare dividend in the year 2013-14, although it will not earn any profit in this year due to heavy losses. Company has been declaring the dividend for the last 5 years. To maintain its reputation, the company wants to declare the dividend in this year too out of the accumulated past profits. Explain how the company can achieve this objective. Other question number 1. Similar question also is tested. Okay, what is this? PET Limited, okay, incurred loss in the business up to the current quarter of the financial year. The company want to declare a dividend at the rate of, company has declared the dividend at the rate of 12, 15 and 18 respectively in the immediate preceding 3 years. In spite of the losses, the board of directors of the company have decided to declare interim dividend at the rate of 15% for the current financial year. Examine the decision of PET Limited stating the provisions of declaration of interim dividend under the Companies Act 2013. Read the question first. One is on the losses and another one is on the another one is on the loss but interim dividend concept. Two different kinds of questions they tested. Read the question first. Read also the second question. Okay. Now, see here. Though here two questions are tested, this answer is given for interim dividend only. Why? Because on final dividend there are so many similar questions are there. So in the question bank I gave answer for interim dividend. Listen, first I will explain. Whenever they say interim dividend, whenever they say interim dividend means a dividend declared between two AGMs. In the general meaning, there is no definition in this. So interim dividend means any dividend that is declared between two AGMs is called as a interim dividend. What is the provision attached to the interim dividend concept? See here. Whenever a company wanted to declare interim dividend, it can declare, when it can declare interim dividend between two AGMs, I said. Now the question arises. See, let us say '23-24 financial year, 1st April 23 ends on 31st March 24. From here 24-25 financial year will begin. Let us say AGM will be held. March 2025. Let us understand this. See here. 23-24 financial year will start on 1st April 2023. It will end on 31st March 2024. AGM will be held on 30th September 2024. 2024-25 financial year end on 31st March 2025. All these are understandable concepts. Now let's go into the main point now. What they say is, any dividend that is declared at the AGM, we call it as final dividend. We call as final dividend. Any dividend that is declared between two AGMs, okay, between two AGMs will be called as a interim dividend. For example, I declared interim dividend 1 here. I declared interim dividend 2 here. I declared interim dividend 3 here. Okay. Interim dividend 1, interim dividend 2, and interim dividend 3. How many interim dividends are there? 3 kinds of interim dividends are there. Okay. Now understand. Somewhere in the middle of 1st April to 31st March, I declared a dividend. Let us say it is on 1st December 2023. I declared an interim dividend. Next, I declared an interim dividend on 1st June 2024. Next, again I declared dividend on 1st December 2024. 3 dates I have taken. Okay. Now listen carefully. This is interim dividend. This is interim dividend. This is also interim dividend. Why these 3 are called as interim dividends? Because these are the dividends that are declared between two AGMs, not being the AGMs. Between AGMs they are declared. We call it interim dividend. Okay. This is interim dividend belonging to which financial year? This one. This one is the interim dividend belongs to which financial year? Question will arise. This one belongs to which financial year and this one belongs to which financial year? Is that question. So now let us focus on this first. Interim dividend 2. Interim dividend 2. When it is declared, it was declared on 1st June 2024. Means it comes under the financial year 24 and 25. Wrong. This is the first mistake that you can do. Because, sir, it is declared after 31st March 2024. No, sir, it belongs to next finance. No. Any dividend declared, listen to my words, any dividend declared after the financial year but before the AGM will belong to or will be treated as interim dividend of the last year only. Will be treated as the interim dividend of last year only. Means this interim dividend is declared when this interim dividend is declared here. This is the AGM date. This is the financial year end date. Any dividend declared between the date of financial year and the AGM date will be declared, will be treated as a interim dividend of the previous closure financial year only. Understood the point or not? Therefore, this will be treated as, okay, this will be treated as interim dividend belonging to 24 and 25. Okay, that means 24 and 25 already March 31st closed or not. That's why from the profits of the financial year, that's why this point came. Okay, that's why this point came. So profits of the financial year means what? This belongs to the financial year 24, 25 or 23, 24 or 23, 24 only it will belong. Now let us change. Here I declared interim dividend. Okay, which financial year it belongs? This is after AGM. This belongs to the corresponding that financial year only. So this is the interim dividend belong to 24 and 25. Okay, now let us understand the point. Another point says like this. Whenever you are wanted to declare the interim dividend and the company is making losses, okay, company making losses until the date of the quarter preceding the quarter in which you are going to declare. For example, I am going to declare dividend on 1st June 2024. Okay, 1st June 2024. Before that 1st June 2024, if your company is making any loss, then interim dividend cannot be declared at whatever rate you want. It should be declared at a rate which is average of rates of dividend declared in 3 preceding financial years. In the given case, 12, 15 and 18. 18 plus 15, 33, 33, 45. 45 by 3 will be 15%. So the maximum rate at which the dividend can be declared, interim dividend can be declared in this company is 15%. See, the board of directors of the company may declare interim dividend during any financial year or at any time during the period of closure of financial year until the AGM. From where? 3 sources: surplus in profit and loss, profits of the financial year, I told you closed year, or profit generated in the up to the quarter. But if there is a loss during the financial year up to the end of the quarter, then dividend shall not be declared at a rate higher than average dividends. That's the answer. Understood? This is the point here. Read for a while. Interim dividend concept whenever comes again, I will not discuss one more time. If there is any unique point, I will discuss, or else we will go to the next one. Repeated questions, let's not read. Please read this question once and complete it fast. So next one. Referring to the provisions of the Companies Act, examine the validity of the following. The Board of Directors of ABC Limited proposes to declare the dividend at the rate of 20% to the equity shareholder despite the fact that company has default in repayment of public deposits accepted. Listen, whether you accepted before or after the commencement, the main point that you have to understand is, okay, you may accept that either before, okay, or you may accept it after. But the point is, the Board of Directors of ABC Limited proposes to declare the dividend at the rate of 20% despite the fact that they have defaulted. As per section number 123, subsection number 6, if there is any default in the repayment of deposits, okay, whenever there is any default in the repayment of deposits, whether member deposits or public deposits, until that failure is continuing, company cannot declare the dividend on equity shares. Okay, so declaration of dividend is not valid. Next, WL Limited is facing losses in the business due to current financial year. The immediately preceding financial year, the private company had declared 8, 10 and 12. Okay, 12, 20, 30, 30 divided by 10% average. To maintain goodwill of the company, the Board of Directors had decided to declare 12% interim dividend. Okay, so please read the question first. I will make it full screen. Okay, read the question. So after reading the question, you might have understand same as a previous question only. First, you have to write the provision. 10% is the rate. Next, the directors of SOM Limited proposed dividend at the rate of 12% on equity shares for the financial year 15-16. The same was approved by the annual general meeting on 20th September. The directors declared the approved dividends. Miss Nidhi was the holder of 1000 equity shares on 31st March 2016, but she has transferred the shares to Mr. Raj, whose name has been registered on 20th May 2016. Who will be entitled to the above dividend? Very good. This question is based on section number 126, called as a dividends kept in abeyance. What is the concept here? Dividends kept in abeyance. That's the name of the concept. What do you mean by dividends kept in abeyance? Dividends which are held, withhold, is called as a dividends kept in abeyance. Listen, whenever transfer of shares is there, transfer itself will not give right. Registration of transfer should be completed. What should be completed? Registration of transfer should be completed. I transferred today, registered this date. In this period, dividend is declared. To whom this dividend will go is a question now. Okay, here if you see, holder of 1000 equity shares on 31st March, transferred shares, okay, transferred shares to Mr. Raj, whose name is registered on 20th May. This is registration. This is transfer. Transfer date ki registration date ki around, it was happened on 31st March. April means May, almost around here 30 and 20, 50, 55 days completed already. 52 days over technically. 52 days after registration is completed, I purchased shares from you. You gave me shares, but in the records of the company, still you are the member, because the transfer is not yet completed, registration is not yet done. So what will happen in the records of the company, in the register of the company whose name is there, to him, dividend has to go. But here the problem has started. What problem started? See, directors of SOM Limited proposed dividend for the financial year. Same is approved in the general meeting on 20th September. 20th September. The directors declared and approved the dividends. The director declared the approved dividends. They seek your opinion on the following matter. Miss Nidhi was the holder of 1000 equity shares on 31st March 2016, but she transferred the shares to Mr. Raj, whose name was registered on 20th May 2016. Who will be entitled to the above dividend? Who will be entitled to the above dividend? Is that question. So listen carefully. Any dividend declared in between date before the registration of that particular shares, always whenever any dividend is declared before that date, in between these two dates, if the dividend is declared, then it will not belong to any one of them. It will be kept in a unpaid dividend account. It will be kept in unpaid dividend account. When it will not be transferred to unpaid dividend account, it will not be transferred to unpaid dividend account if if the transferor gives a consent in writing, to transfer the dividend to the transferee mentioned in the instrument of transfer. Okay, so instrument of transfer, SH3 form will be there, SH4 form. In that form, transfer of shares should happen from one person to another person. Yes, I made a transfer. Transfer is completed, SH4 form along with the share certificate we have to send to the company for registration. We sent it, but registration not yet done. Okay, but transferor himself said to the company, any dividend transfer to the transferee. In that case, no unpaid dividend account, no transfer. However, here nothing is said. Dividends are declared, to whom it will go? To whom it will go? If the dividends are declared, if the registration is not completed, then the dividends are kept in unpaid dividend account till the dispute is resolved. Okay, see here. First, dividend will be paid to registered shareholder. Just now I told you that point. As per 126, where the shares has been transferred by one holder to another, then if the share transferred before payment of dividend, then it shall be treated as pending transfer and transferee would be entitled to receive the amount of dividend. Okay, so simply to tell, 126 section, this is what they have said. In the present case, Miss Nini, who has transferred 1000 equity shares on 31st March to Mr. Raj, but transfer has been registered on 20th. Dividend is declared on 20th September. Means after the registration or before registration? After registration. Okay. So while declaration of dividend, there is no transfer of shares pending. Therefore, Mr. Raj is entitled. In this case, registration is complete on 20th May. Dividend is declared after that. So Raj is already the owner. Dividends need not be kept in abeyance. So transfer will only receive. If the dividends are declared between the registration sending and actual registration completed in between, if it is, then dividends will be kept in unpaid dividend account. Next. During the financial year 16-17, Universal Limited declared interim dividend for the second time. After declaration, Board of Directors decided to revoke the second interim dividend. Okay, since the financial position was poor to accommodate the said dividend. Okay, examine the validity of the board decision. First, what is a dividend? Dividend includes an interim dividend. All provisions applicable to dividend apply also to them. Dividend once declared cannot be revoked. Dividends once declared cannot be revoked. In this case, Universal Limited declared interim dividend second time during the financial. After declaration, board decided to revoke. Okay, but as a general rule, board of directors cannot revoke after declaration. Okay, but if the dividend declaration is ultra wise, means what? If the dividend is declared not out of profits but out of capital, etc., then they can with punishments. But normally revocation of dividend is not permitted. Okay, next. Again, same kind of question. Next. Alpha Limited, a Section 8 company, is planning to declare dividend in the annual general meeting for the financial year 31/3/2018. Mr. Chopra is holding 800 shares as on the date. State whether the Act of Companies according to the provisions of Companies Act 2013. Section 8 company planning to declare dividend. Listen carefully. What is a Section 8 company? Section 8 company means a charitable company. Okay, this company, first one, it will be incorporated for promoting the education, science, social welfare, religion, charity, etc. And the second condition, it will not declare dividend. It prohibits declaration of dividend to its members. Okay, so it cannot do. Just read the answer. Okay, next. YZ Limited is a manufacturing company and has proposed a dividend at the rate of 10% for the year 2017-18 out of the current year profits. The company has earned a profit of rupees 910 crores during 17-18. XYZ Limited does not intend to transfer any amount to the general reserves of the company out of the current year profit. Is YZ Limited allowed to do so? Comment. Listen what has happened. This is a company. Proposed dividend of 10% out of current year profits. Dividend can be declared out of three sources: current year profit, past profit, or out of both. Company has earned a profit of 19 crores. XYZ Limited does not intend to transfer any amount to general reserve. There is no link between declaration of dividend and transfer to general reserve. Okay, transfer of profits to general reserve is at the complete discretion of board of directors. Means if board of directors wanted to transfer any amount to general reserve, they can transfer, or else there is no compulsion to transfer any amount to general reserves. So directly. First write down the provisions. After that, XYZ Limited earned the profits. It has proposed a dividend. However, it does not intend to transfer. As per the provisions above, amount to be transferred to reserves out of the profits is at the discretion of YZ Limited. Board of Directors discretion. Okay. Next. So for this question, there is a similar question. That's why I did not give answer for this question. Directly come to question number 30. Supreme Limited declared dividend at the rate of 10% on its 10 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each on 30th September 2016. The dividend warrants were dispatched to all the shareholders except three shareholders holding in total 50,000 shares due to the dispute regarding the title over the shares pending in the court. On ascertaining the position on 30th October 2016, it was observed that dividend warrants for rupees 1.5 lakhs were not encashed by remaining shareholders. Explain with reference to the provisions of Companies Act 2013 the actions to be taken by the company to deal with unpaid or unclaimed amount of dividend, also the consequences if the default is done in this matter. Mark it very important. Expected question for J25. Read the question first. Take time, read the question first. Okay, read the question. Okay, see here what has happened. Supreme Limited declared a dividend at the rate of 10% on its 10 lakh equity shares of 10 each. And 1 crore, 1 crore equity share, 1 crore value is there on 30th September 2016. Dividend warrants were dispatched to all the shareholders except three shareholders holding total 50,000 shares due to dispute regarding the title over the dividend. Okay. On ascertaining the position on 30th October 2016, it was observed that dividend warrants for 1.5 lakh were not encashed by remaining shareholders. Okay, 1.5 is not encashed, and for 50,000 shares, I did not declare dividend day. So, listen first, very important question. There is a section called as section number 127, which says that whenever a dividend is declared, okay, whenever a dividend is declared, the amount of dividend whatever declared will become liability to the company. Therefore, company has to transfer the dividend to the respective accounts of the registered shareholders or dispatch dividend warrants. Okay, dividend warrant is also like a dividend day, but they can transfer the dividend warrant to some other, they can gift also to some other. So either pay the dividend or dispatch the dividend warrants within a period of 30 days from the date of declaration of dividend. Within 30 days you have to dispatch all the dividend warrants or pay the dividend to the respective accounts. If there is any default in that, then company will be liable to pay 18% simple interest. 18% simple interest. Minimum 1000 per day of default board of directors has to pay with an imprisonment also for 2 years. So these are all the various consequences of not paying the dividend after declaring them. Okay, here what happened, declared at 10% but not paid. Declared at 10% but not paid. How many shareholders did not pay? 50,000 shares, not 50,000 shareholders. 3 shareholders holding 50,000 shares. We did not dispatch the dividend warrants and neither did not pay the dividend. Why we did not pay? There is a dispute. Section 127 what I said now, whenever the dividend is declared, within 30 days from the date of declaration of dividend, we should pay the dividend or deposit the dividend warrants within 30 days. Okay, if not, punishments will get applied. However, the punishments will not get applied in 5 cases. Number 1, if there is a non-payment because of operation of law, because law prohibited company from paying it. Law prohibited the company from paying to him. So since law did not permit me to pay the dividend, I did not pay. In all other cases, I would have paid. That is one exception. Second one, the shareholder has given some instructions to pay the dividend, but that instructions cannot be complied by the company, and the same is communicated to the shareholder. Okay, in that case also no problem, because from your side there is a mistake. Number 3, there is a dispute in the title to the dividend in this case. Okay, if there is a dispute, dividends kept in abeyance. Okay, transfer happened, registration not yet happened, in the middle dividend is declared. Company can't pay to him, company can't pay to her. Okay, to either of the parties I can't pay. Therefore, I did not pay. So therefore, since there is a dispute in the title in the court, I cannot declare dividend. Number 4, where the dividend is adjusted to the lawfully adjusted, company lawfully adjusted dividends to the unpaid amounts. For example, shareholder is also a debtor. He did not pay amounts to the company. To the debts, company can adjust this dividend. In that case, they need not declare dividend again to those. And last one, any other reason not due to the fault of company. In these cases, company will not be liable even though after declaration payment is not actually made. In this case, there is a dispute regarding the title. This is one of the exception or not. So no problem, no punishments. Next, not encashing is at the headache of the shareholder. Not encashing is not the mistake of the company. Na? I gave you dividend warrant or not, that's it. Company obligation is completed if the dividend warrants are posted, not when the dividends are encashed. So, where a dividend has been declared by a company but has not been paid or claimed within 30 days from the date of declaration to any shareholders entitled, okay, then the company shall transfer it to the unpaid dividend account within 7 days. Okay, within 7 days from the date of expiry of the 30 days. Okay, next. See here. And moreover, this answer is given by ICAI. Later, ICAI has changed its answer to section number 127. You need not write 124 in the exam. This answer itself you need not write. Actually, this is not an unpaid dividend question. This is on punishments for non-payment of dividend even if they are declared. See, explain with reference to the provisions of Companies Act the actions to be taken to deal with unpaid dividend or unclaimed amount of dividend. Okay, defaults done in this matter. He is not asking about that. He did not pay dividend even after declaration. What will happen on that he is asking. Actually, the question has to be answered as per 127. But Institute has answered as per 124. Recently, they changed the answer. That I should agree. So, 127. This is the answer given by ICAI. Recently, they released a corrigendum. Means change. In the change, they said that for this section, please write 127, not 124. Okay. This section has to be written as per 127. That's why I said entire 127 section to you. Next one. So I will mark this question mistake. Not my mistake, yeah. Whatever ICAI will be giving, I will be putting here. Okay, but there is a mistake from their side which they have rectified now. Next, Komal Limited declares a dividend for its shareholders in the AGM held on 27th September 2018. Referring to the provisions of the General Clauses Act, okay, the date during which Komal Limited is required to pay the dividend. So what is General Clauses Act? Suddenly came result. General Clause Act there is one section. Okay, General Clause Act there is one section. Whenever the dividend is declared, within 30 days you have to pay the dividend. Okay, within 30 days you have to pay the dividend means within what time? Within 30 days from the date of declaration of dividend. From the date of declaration of dividend, it has to pay. Okay. Whenever I use the word from, the date of declaration of dividend should be included or not is a question. For example, 27th 9 2018 dividend is declared. Okay, 27/8/27/9/2018 dividend is declared. Now the answer, 27/9/2018 dividend is declared na? So the question is, from 27/9/2018, okay, from 27/9/2018, how many days? 30 days. When to count the 30? That 30 should include 27, or that 30 should exclude 27. That 30 should exclude the 27. Who said? That will be said in general clauses. Whenever the word from is used, exclude the first day in the series of days. Okay, so that's it. Later read the answer. Next one is just investor education protection fund. Credits, debits, you have to read and remember. Please read it. Next, I will do one thing. I will go to last questions and come forward, because most important MTP RTP questions are there at the last. I will do them. Okay. See, November 23 exam question. The dividend amounts received or receivable on equity shares held by Mr. Vaibhav for the financial year 21-22 was as follows. Name of the company, Suhas Limited. Dividend declaration date 25/22. Dividend amount 800 rupees. Remarks, dividend were paid on 23/10/22. Bandhol Nidhi Limited, 49/22. Dividend amount is 100. Dividend was not paid within the stipulated time. Also, Mr. Vaibhav holds 100 cumulative preference shares of face value 1 lakh in aggregate of Jipanti Limited, on which dividend payable is at the rate of 8% per annum. However, during the financial year 21-22, Jipanti Limited did not earn any profits. In the context of aforesaid case scenario, please answer the following questions. What could be the punishment to the company aforesaid in the table with respect to the delayed payment of the dividend amounts? Whether Jipanti Limited is required to pay the dividend on cumulative preference shares for the financial year 21-22. Read the question first before we go into the solution. Important question, mark it. Read the question properly. Read the question properly before we start. Read the question. See here. First, this question is addressing section number 127 again. Okay, same question 120. First, you have to write about 127. In case where, okay, in case where the company fails to pay the dividend or fails to post the dividend warrant within 30 days of from the date of declaration, then it shall be liable to pay simple interest at the rate of 18%. Understood now? So now the question is, okay, now the question is, listen, in case of a Nidhi Limited, Nidhi companies, there is one notification, MCA notification exempting them. What is that? In terms of notifications on section 127 dealing with punishment, shall apply to Nidhi subject to the following. In case dividend payable to a member is rupees 100 or less, here 100, it shall be sufficient compliance of provisions of 127. In case of Nidhi only, not all cases. If the declaration of dividend is announced in the local language in a one local newspaper, okay, it shall be sufficient compliance of 127. If the declaration of dividend is announced in a local language in one local newspaper of wide circulation and Announcement of said declaration is also displayed in the notice board of Nidhi company for at least 3 months. Means if the amount is either 100 or less, okay, it shall be sufficient compliance of the provisions of 127 if a declaration of dividend is announced in a local newspaper in a local language and also displayed in the notice board of the Nidhi company at least for 3 months. So in case of a normal company, since the dividends are not paid properly, there will be a punishment 18%. So in case of Suwas Limited, dividend was declared on 25 but was paid. The dividend declared should have been posted on each shareholder within 30 days, that is 24/9, but they did not. Accordingly, interest is payable calculated as under 800 rupees na 800 into 18% divided by into 29 by 365, 11 rupees interest. In case of Bandhol Nidhi Limited, it is 100 or less. Na? In such a case, it shall be sufficient compliance if the dividend is announced by the company in a local language in a local newspaper and it is displayed in the notice board for that at least 3 months. Means 4/12/2022, 3 months. Accordingly, if the aforesaid compliances have been made by Bandhol Nidhi Limited, then no punishment can be imposed on it. Okay. Next one. Preference shares. Preference shares. So what is a cumulative preference share? When the dividend is not paid for 1 year on a preference share, next year 2 years cumulative you have to pay. So a cumulative preference share is one in respect of which a dividend gets accumulated and any arrears on such dividend arising due to insufficiency of profits is payable from the profits earned in the later years. Until and unless dividend on cumulative preference shares is paid in full, including arrears, no dividend is payable on equity shares. Here, it is given that during the financial year 21-22, Japan Limited did not earn any profits and accordingly, in such case, company may accumulate dividends for the financial year 21-22 to be carried forward to the following financial years and such arrears of dividend would be payable from the following profits. Simply to tell one line, in case of cumulative preference shares, any dividend which is not paid in one of the years will be accumulated and paid as a arrears in the next year along with the preference dividend of that year. So two dividends we have to pay on preference shares that year. Next, see, I told there one question, it is repeated here. ESPN Heavy Engineering Limited is a listed entity engaged in the business of providing engineering solution to the clients across the country. The company followed consistent growth over the years. Rate of declaration of dividend in the immediately preceding 3 years 15, 20 and 25, 45 and 15, 16 or 60 divided by 3 will be 20% is the average. Unfortunately, due to obsolescence of special part of the machinery, company incurred losses in the current financial year. Even though during the financial year 21-22 the company declared interim dividend at the rate of even though during financial year the company declared interim dividend at the rate of 10%. Okay, you can pay up to 20, you paid up to 10, correct. The board of directors of the company approved the financial results for the financial year 21-22 in its meeting held on 5th August and recommended a final dividend at the rate of 25%, 15% in this board meeting. The general meetings of the shareholders was convened on 31st August 2022. The shareholders of the company demanded that since interim dividend at the rate of 10% was declared by the company, so the final dividend should not be less than 20%. It was also submitted that rate of declaration of dividend in the immediately preceding 3 years is so much, but the company secretary emphasized that final dividend cannot be increased. Whether company can declare interim dividend if company incurred losses during current financial year, what should be the correct rate of interim dividend? Do you think the decision of company secretary is correct? What should be the correct rate of final dividend? So many concepts here discussed. Read the question. Get the question? So see here. ESPN Heavy Engineering Limited is a listed company engaged in the business of providing engineering solution to the clients. The company followed consistent growth over the years. Rate of declaration of dividend in the immediate preceding 3 years is 15, 28, 25. 35 plus 25, 35 plus 25. So totally it is 60%. Average will be 20. Unfortunately, due to obsolescence, company incurred loss in the current financial year. Even though if company incurred a loss in the current financial year, up to the quarter of declaring the interim dividend, it can declare. But the rate of interim dividend should not exceed average rate at which the dividend is declared in the last 3 preceding financial years. So the rate can't exceed 20%. So first provision you write about interim dividend, whatever we discussed. Final dividend. Okay. Interim dividend you have to write like this, and the last one answer is 20%. So 20%. Next, talk about final dividend now. The board of directors of the company approved the financial result for the financial year 21-22 in its meeting held on 5th August and recommended final dividend at the rate of 15%. The general meeting of the shareholders was convened on 31st August 2022. 31st August 2022. Board of directors approved on 5th August. Okay, to 15% they proposed. The general meeting convened on 31st. Shareholders demanded the since interim dividend is 10, final dividend should be not less than 20. Not less than 20 means it should be either 20 or more than 20. Shareholders cannot increase the rate of dividend. They can only pass a resolution whether they want dividend or they do not want the dividend. And since there is a loss even in this case, since there is a loss in the current financial year, see, current financial year loss is there or not, even in that case if you want to declare a final dividend also, rate should not exceed 20. Here they are telling not less than 20. Shareholders has no right to increase the rate of dividend. So board of directors recommended 15%. It was approved at the general meeting. Okay, however shareholder demanded 20%. General meeting cannot declare the dividend at a rate higher than the rate declared recommended by the board. Okay, next. A company has accumulated free reserves of 75 lakhs during the last 5 years. It has not declared any dividend during these years. Now the company proposes to appropriate a part of this amount for the making of dividend for the current year in which it earned a profit of 12 lakhs. The board proposes the payment of dividend of 30 lakhs, that is 30% of the paid up share capital. Examine as per the provisions of Companies Act 2013 whether the proposal of the company is valid. Read the question properly first. Read the question properly. Okay, let's continue. So a company has accumulated free reserves of 75 lakhs during the last 5 years. It has not declared any dividend during these years. Now the company proposes to appropriate a part of this amount for the making of payment of dividend for the current year in which it earned a profit of 12 lakhs. The board proposes to make the payment of dividend at 30 lakhs. So tell me, profit is 12 lakh but it wanted to make a payment of 30 lakhs. So this is a case of an inadequate profit. We wanted to pay 30 but only 12 lakhs is available. So what to do? The remaining amount you can bring it from the accumulated profits. Because as per section number 123 subsection number 1, dividend to the dividend by a company can be paid either out of the current year profit or out of the past accumulated profits or out of both. So in this case, in the given question, company intended to declare dividend out of current year profits and past. As per provisions of 120, in which any year there are no adequate profits For declaring dividend, the company may declare dividend out of profits of the previous year transferred to the free reserves. So from free reserves only it can. Revaluation reserves, so capital reserves it cannot. Free reserves. Yes. So, but there are 5 conditions. Condition number 1. Technically 4 conditions. Condition number 1. The rate of dividend should not exceed average rate at which the dividend is declared in the 3 preceding financial years. In the 3 preceding financial years. He said that it has not declared any dividend in these years. Okay. Therefore, this condition does not apply. Condition number 2. Condition number 2. Amount drawn from the accumulated profits should not exceed 1/10 of the paid up share capital and free reserves. Okay, 1/10 of the paid up share capital and free reserves. Okay, did he give anything about the paid up share capital and free reserves? Here 75 lakhs is the free reserves. It has not declared any dividend. Company proposes to appropriate the part of payment like that they said. 30% on the paid up capital. 30 lakhs is 30% means 100% will become 1 crore. So 1 crore plus free reserve 75 lakhs divided by 10. Okay, 1 crore 75 lakhs means 17 lakh 50,000. 17 lakh 50,000. That's the condition 1. Condition 1 is free. Since condition 1 shall not applicable, that's why I have written as shall not apply. Okay. Second case la 17.5 lakh. Next this is 17.5 lakh. This is condition 2. Condition 1, condition 2, condition 3. Any kind of current year loss is there, you should adjust. There is no current year loss, leave it. Last condition, no current year loss. Condition 4. After withdrawal, the amount of free reserves should not be less than 15% of paid up share capital. How much is there in the accumulated profits with me? How much is there in the accumulated profits? 75 lakhs. Okay, 75 lakh. How much I will be withdrawing? 17.5. 17.5. Okay, this amount will be 15% of the paid up share capital. What is the paid up share capital? 1 crore. 1 crore into 15% will be 15 lakhs. It is more than 15 lakhs or less than 15 lakhs. 75 minus 17.5. More than 15. So therefore that condition is also satisfied. Means the amount after drawing the amount from accumulated profits, the amount left in the accumulated profit should not be less than 15% of the paid up share capital. So free reserves. Proposed withdrawal for the declaration will be this one. This is the balance. The balance is more than 15% of the paid up share capital, and therefore the proposal of the company to pay dividend 30 lakhs in the current year is invalid. Maximum how much only you can pay? 17.5 lakhs only you can pay, means 17.5% only you can pay. Okay, next. ASR Limited declared dividend at its annual general meeting held on 31/12/2020. The dividend warrant to Mr. A shareholder, was posted on 22nd January. Due to the postal delay, Mr. A received the warrant on 5th February and encashed it subsequently. Can Mr. A initiate an action? I told na, any failure not due to the fault of company. Postal delay is not in the fault of company. So no punishment. Final. Hence A cannot initiate action against company. So it is immaterial whether A has received or not. In the given question, dividend was declared on 31/3 and dividend warrant is posted within 30 days. It is immaterial whether post was received or not. That's not the mistake of the company. Next. The Board of Directors of Anand Limited proposes to declare dividend at the rate of 20% despite the fact that company has defaulted. Same question. We already read now. You cannot. Next, whether a company can declare a dividend for the financial year in which it declared loss? Yes, after following 4 conditions. Rate of dividend should not exceed average rate at which dividend is declared in the last 3 years, and second very important point is the amount withdrawn from the accumulated profit should not exceed 1/10 of the paid up share capital and free reserves, and third condition will be first adjust the current year losses, accumulated losses, anything you should first unabsorbed depreciation and unabsorbed business loss you have to first set off, and finally the amount available in the free reserves after withdrawal should not be less than 15% of the paid up share capital. Follow that and pay. Next. AB Limited is a public company having registered office in Coimbatore. The company has incurred a net loss of 20 lakhs in the financial year 1920. The board of directors wanted to declare dividend for the financial year 1920. The balances are as follows: equity share capital, general reserve, debenture redemption. Debenture redemption reserve is not a free reserve. Next, general reserve is a free reserve. So total is 250 lakhs is the paid up share capital and free reserves. Free reserves is 150 lakh. The company has not declared any dividend in the preceding 3 years, so condition 1 does not apply. Decide whether AB Limited is allowed to declare dividend or not for the financial year 1920 by explaining the relevant provisions, etc. Okay, how much it can pay? First, condition number 1, the amount of dividend should not exceed average. That condition anyway not applicable, leave it. Number 2, amount that can be withdrawn should be 10% of paid up share capital and free reserves. 10% means, okay, 10% means 25 lakhs. Condition 1 not applicable. Condition 2 limit is 25, but don't finalize that. Condition 3, okay, condition 3. So what they say is, after getting this 25 lakhs, first reduce the current year loss. How much is the current year loss here? Compare again, 20. Set off this 5 lakhs. Okay. Now after that, how much it is? 5 lakh. And condition 4, balance in the reserve should not be less than 15% of the paid up share capital. Balance in the reserve. After 150, I will be declaring how much? 5 lakh. 145 will be there. It is not less than 10% of the 15% of the paid up share capital. So this is more than 15%, this 145 lakhs. Therefore, by following the above provisions, AB Limited is allowed to declare a dividend at the rate of 5%, that is 5 lakhs it can. Next. Sunlight Limited is incorporated on 22nd of January 2019 with an object of providing software services. Company adopted in its first financial year as on 22nd January 2019 to 31st March 2020. The financial statement for the said period, after providing for depreciation in accordance with the Schedule 2 of the Companies Act, revealed a net profit. The Board of Directors declared 20% interim dividend at their meeting held on 7th July 2020 before holding its first AGM. So it belongs to the previous year. In the light of the provisions of the Companies Act and rules made thereunder, whether company has complied due diligence in declaring interim dividend. Second one, whether company declared, in case it is a section 8 cannot declare. Final answer. What are the penal consequences? See here. First, incorporated on 22nd January. Okay. The company adopted first financial year as from 22nd January to 31st March 2020. Okay. This is the point they said. So first listen carefully. Whenever any interim dividend is declared, it can be declared not only during the financial year but after the financial year, but before the AGM, anything will be said to be interim dividend. So first write down about the interim dividend. In instant case, Sunlight Limited has completed due diligence in declaring interim dividend, as interim dividend was declared by the Board of Directors at their meeting on 7th July before conducting its annual general meeting. So I said you, after financial year but before AGM, any dividend is declared, that will be seen to be interim dividend of that year. Also, financial statement revealed net profit and dividend can also be paid out of profits of financial year. Section 8 company is prohibited. Penal consequences, just write down if dividend is not declared, what is the penalty. This 127 has to be referred. I told you 18%, 1000 rupees per day of default and 2 years of imprisonment. If you want, you can see here. See, company, if dividend warrants are not declared within 30 days, then every director of a company who is knowingly a party, imprisonment 2 years, fine not less than 1000 for every day of default, 18% simple interest. That's what you need to write. Next. The directors of East West Limited proposed a dividend of 15% on its equity shares for the financial year 17-18. The same was approved in the AGM held on 24th October 2018. The directors declared the approved dividends. Mr. Binoy was the holder of 2000 equity shares but transferred the shares to Mr. Mohan, whose name is registered on 18th June. Okay. So when it is conducted 24th October, 18th June it was registered. So who will receive this? This will be received by the next owner. So try to understand this clearly. Simple question. Already we read a similar question. Dividend is 15%. Same was approved on 24th October. Dividend declared. Mr. Binoy was a holder of 2000 equity shares on 31st March. But we transferred to Mr. Mohan. 18th June it is registered. So as on the date of AGM, whose name it is registered? Mohan. Therefore Mohan only will receive. Since Mohan became registered shareholder before declaration of dividend, he will be entitled to dividend. Next. Vishal Limited has paid dividend consistently over every year at the rate of 10% on its equity shares in the last 5 years. The company has incurred loss. It wants to declare dividend for the financial year. Whether company can do so. Yes, same 5 conditions. Okay, sorry, four conditions. Rate should not exceed average. First, 10% paid up share capital, set off any kind of losses or unabsorbed depreciation, and balance in the reserve should not fall below 15% of paid up share capital. Next, RST Limited declared dividend at the rate of 20% for the financial year 17-18 in the AGM scheduled on 15th June 2018. As RST Limited is left with certain unpaid and unclaimed dividend, it transferred amount of unpaid and unclaimed to unpaid dividend account. After remaining unpaid and unclaimed for more than 2 years in the UDA, some of the entitled shares made liable from RST Limited for the non-compliance of Section 124 and claimed for their unpaid dividend amount. RST Limited denies the saying that there are certain legal issues on the entitlement of dividend amount to the respective shareholders. State in the light of the given facts whether allegation marked by the shareholders and claim for the dividend amount against RST Limited is justifiable. Read the question. Mark it important for the J25. Read the question. So, lot of time was given. Listen. What is this question all about? This question is based on unpaid dividend account. This question is based on unpaid dividend account. RST Limited declared dividend at the rate of 20% for the financial year 17-18 in the AGM scheduled on 15th June 2018. As RST Limited is left with certain unpaid and unclaimed dividend, it transferred the amount of unpaid and unclaimed dividend to UDA account. Okay. After remaining unpaid and unclaimed for more than 2 years in the UDA, some of the entitled shareholders made liable RST Limited for non-compliance of Section 124 and claimed for their unpaid dividend amount. RST Limited denies, saying that there are certain legal issues on the entitlement dividend amount to the respective shareholders. Listen first. As per section number 124 unpaid dividend account, I will tell you the point. Whenever the dividend is declared, it should be deposited into the account of the respective shareholder, or a dividend warrant must be posted within a period of 30 days from the date of declaration of dividend. First point you have to write. If no one has claimed the dividend within the 30 days time, then within 7 days from the expiry of that 30 days, you need to transfer that to a separate account with a scheduled bank called as unpaid dividend account. Okay, within 90 days from the date of transfer to that account, you should prepare a statement containing the names of the shareholder, number of shares held, all the details of unpaid dividend you should prepare within 90 days. And this unpaid dividend account, the shares will be, that dividend will be kept in withhold for a period of 7 years from the date of its for a period of 7 years from the date of that transfer. After 7 years also, if no one claims that, then it will be transferred to the IEPF account under 125. In this case, what happened? RST Limited declared dividend on 2017-2018 in the AGM. RST is left with certain unpaid and unclaimed dividend, transferred to unpaid dividend. Up to there, it has done correctly. After remaining unpaid and unclaimed over 2 years, some of the entitled shareholders made liable for non-compliance. There is no non-compliance in transfer, but if within 7 years any shareholder claimed the unpaid dividend, company is having an obligation to pay that amount from unpaid dividend account to the respective shareholder. So see here, first this point already I discussed, where the dividend has been declared but it has not been paid within 30 days from the date of declare, company within 7 days has to transfer to unpaid dividend account. Point 1. 90 days, so they have to prepare a statement containing names, last known addresses and unpaid dividend and put it on website also. Point 2. Next, accordingly, in the given situation, RST Limited failed to give the statement and so liable for non-compliance. So statement is not prepared, that mistake it has done. Next, any person claiming to be entitled to any money transferred to unpaid dividend account may apply to the company for payment of the money claim. If RST Limited fails to comply with the requirements, company will be liable to a penalty of 1 lakh rupee, continuous payment, all these things. Penalties, penalty chart I have clearly kept, you can read. Penalty is only a remembrance, I don't want to waste time by discussing about penalty. Next, unpaid dividend account, same procedure here, this is, so nothing great in this question. So let's see this. G Medical Instruments Limited is a manufacturing company and has proposed a dividend of 10% in the year 21-22 out of the profits of the current year. The company has earned a profit of 9-10. Already we completed this 9-10 crores question. Next. Annual general meeting of ABC Bakers Limited held on 30th May declared a dividend at the rate of 30% payable on paid up equity share capital as recommended. However, company was unable to post the dividend warrant to Mr. Ranjan, an equity shareholder, on up to 25th. Mr. Ranjan filed a suit that the company for the payment of dividend along with the interest at the rate of 20% per annum. Decide in the light. So first one, how much dividend is declared? 30%. Next, however, company was unable to post the dividend warrant to Mr. Ranjan up to 25th July. 30th May, within 1 month, means on or before 29th of June you have to do. But up to 25th also it unable to post. It did not post at all. So there is a mistake on the part of the company. Company will be liable for payment of a simple interest at the rate of 18% per annum for the defaulted period, and the directors not less than 1000 rupees for every day of default, and also 2 years of imprisonment. Okay, but one thing, interest will not be paid at 20%, it will be paid only at the rate of 18%. Okay, Mr. Ranjan will not succeed if he claims 20%, as it is only 18%. Next, all answer you should write and then conclusion. Next, Mars Limited declared and paid dividend in time to all its equity shareholders for the financial 16-17 except in the following two cases. It paid everyone properly, but for two. What happened? Mrs. Sheetal, holding 250 shares, had mandated the company to directly deposit the dividend amount in her bank account. The company accordingly remitted the dividend, but the bank returned the payment on the ground that there was a difference in the surname of the payee in the bank records. The company, however, did not inform Sheetal about this discrepancy. The dividend amount of 50,000 was not paid to Mr. Piyush, deceased, in the view of court order restraining the payment due to the family dispute about succession. You are required to analyze the cases. Listen, 127 section already I said, whenever the dividend is declared, within 30 days from the date of declaration of dividend, the dividend must be paid or warrant must be posted to the respective account, or else punishments will get attracted. But exceptions are there. 5 situations, no punishment. Number 1, if dividend could not be paid by operation of law. Second one, shareholder has given instruction, but the instructions could not be complied by the company. However, company should inform back to the shareholder about that instructions could not be complied. Here what happened? Sheetal said that deposit to a bank account. You tried, but bank returned. You should inform that to Sheetal. Then only company can escape the punishment, or else company will be liable. In this case, company did not inform Mr. Sheetal na punishments are inevitable. Company has to suffer the punishment. Next, dividend amount of 50,000 was not paid because there is a dispute. So no problem. When there is a dispute in the ownership, if even though if you don't pay the dividend, no problem. It is an exception condition. So see, in the given situation, company has failed to communicate to the shareholder Mr. Sheetal about non-compliance. Hence, penal provisions will be applicable. In this case, no problem. There will be no liability on company. Next, same, yeah. This is on unpaid dividend account, just provision of unpaid dividend day, you have to remember. Same question, whatever we read already. If you want, you can read. The Board of Directors of Due Fashion Limited at its meeting recommended dividend on the paid up share capital, which was later approved by the shareholders at AGM. Recommended, approved. Thereafter, the directors at another meeting of the board passed a resolution for diverting total dividend to be paid to the shareholder to purchase certain short-term investments. Okay. As a result, dividend was paid to the shareholder after 45 days. Whenever dividend is proposed, it should be declared. It should be paid within a period of 30 days from the date of declaration of dividend, or else punishment will get attracted. Okay. So mainly 127 punishments will get attracted. That's it. Next. The director of Leon Limited, okay, proposed a dividend at the rate of 12% on equity shares for the financial year. Same was approved by the annual general meeting. Mr. A, holding the shares of face value 10 lakh, has not been paid an amount of 1 lakh towards the call money. Can the company adjust? I told them one of the exception in 127 is you can adjust the unpaid amounts to the dividends. Yes, it can be. So, company can adjust the sum. 127 section you have to write. Next. Vishal Limited declared and paid 10% dividend to all its equity shareholders except to Mr. Ricky, holding 500 equity shares, who instructed the company to deposit the dividend directly to the bank. The company accordingly remitted the dividend, but the bank returned. Same question again. Next. Section 8 company cannot declare. Komal Limited declared dividend in the annual general meeting. General Clause Act question already completed. Similar questions, all these are. Director of Rom Limited proposed dividend. All these are same questions here. With this, all kinds of important questions in this particular chapter, dividends is also completed. So hopefully everyone in the listen to the class, please respond. Are you all okay with this? Everyone understood all the questions in the dividends chapter? Okay. So with this, we will stop this session for today. Okay. So thank you very much. Good night.